cover off, you're probably never fighting for real estate back there with the olds in the building, are you?
Not really.
Right.
It's
the youngins who are in the pool.
I mean, it's honestly an underused pool.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's the thing is, there's not really a lot of people that spend a lot of time down there. So when it's the weekend, I'm down there a lot and
usually have the joint to yourself.
To myself, or there's a few other people, but there'll be certain days when there's 15 or 20 people down there when it's real hot around 4th of July and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even then, it's a big enough pool that you're not bothered by anybody. It's pretty fun. I get to know the neighbors that way. There's people that I really only see during the summer at the pool.
And then you have to reacquaint yourself.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Hey,
how was the last year? Hey, how was your winter?
I just saw this one guy, he works for UPS and he lives in my building. And I saw him coming home from work and I never see him. I'm like, I'll see you in a couple weeks at the pool. He's like, oh, yeah. Because we'd always see each other on Sundays at the pool, but we wouldn't really ever see each other because he lives on the other side of the building, is on a different schedule than me.
Yeah.
So I don't see him very often.
It's like when you had friends at camp.
Yeah.
I never went to camp, but I heard stories.
Mm-hmm. Well, what was the other factor there, even if you had gone to camp?
Friends?
Yeah.
Listen, because I had friends when I was a kid, because they're nerds like me, right? I have every expectation that had I gone to camp as a kid, I would have made a couple friends. I mean, it would be nice to be as gregarious as some people are. Thank God my younger daughter got her personality from my wife because she's very gregarious with people. She'd be like, hi, I'm Nora. Who are you? We were in Arizona. We're out there swimming. There's a couple other little kids in the pool. Swims up to them. Hey, how are you? Making friends left and right. That ain't me. Wasn't me as a kid. But I'd much rather have her be that way than cowering in the corner, because you see a lot of kids who do that too, and that's no good. Your Cleveland Guardians take 2 of 3 against the Twins here at home this past weekend. 2-0 was the final yesterday. They'll start up tonight, first of 3 against the Detroit Tigers, who are kind of doing what they've been doing the last couple of seasons. But they'll play the Guardians tonight. They're kind of in the same boat right now, wins-wise. But that's a 6:10 start, so around 6 o'clock is when we will roll out of here and make way for your Guardians pregame. Tigers, Guards tonight, 6:10 here on MMS. By the way, many, many, many condolences to the family of Dan Gilbert. You, of course, saw over the course of the weekend no shortage of stories about Nick Gilbert dying. He was 26. People remember him a decade back. No idea how old he would have been then. But when he was part of that year's draft, is that the year they got Kyrie?
Yeah.
LeBron had left.
And then they got
And the Cavs
Kyrie.
got the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And Nick Gilbert, who had been diagnosed as a child with an incurable genetic condition. But he was the kid with the bow tie and the glasses and just personality plus. Everybody, loved this kid. And he passed away over the weekend at 26 years old. Which, again, anytime, you read about somebody losing a kid, no matter how old the kid is, whether you lose a kid at any point, whatever, if you're a parent, I have no idea how I don't know how you go past that. But, there it is. The 2011 draft lottery was when he was up there with Dan Gilbert. LeBron had left. Cleveland had the number 1 pick, and they grabbed Kyrie Irving. And Nick Gilbert was 14 years old at the time, and he caught everybody's attention then. And then I think he was with Dan Gilbert over the court, from that point on. Wouldn't he? He would
be there
with him, and
if they were in the lottery, he'd usually be there,
right,
for that.
Because when LeBron was gone, the Cavaliers got the number 1 pick a lot.
Yeah, they got
because they stunk
three times, I believe.
And
back-to-back years, I think, too.
Back-to-back years. There you go. So anyway, and again, I have to admit complete ignorance. I knew that he had some condition. I guess I didn't realize until I read all this stuff that there was no cure for it. Wasn't aware of that. So I guess whatever time you have is luck and good fortune in a situation like that. But condolences to listen, I've taken my shots at Dan Gilbert over the years. I was on in Detroit for many years, too, and between Cleveland and Detroit, Dan Gilbert owns all of it. So I've taken more than my shots at him, but obviously that's got nothing to do with this. So condolences to that whole family.
Yeah, this broke me down a little bit yesterday because that's just one of those things that when you lose a child, and especially to an incurable disease like that, and you know it's always in the back of your mind, and it's just a time bomb, and you don't know when it's going to go off, it just weighs heavy. So when I heard, my girlfriend told me yesterday that he passed away, and it just,
because he had surgeries,
just
correct?
I mean, he had all the health care you could ever want.
Yeah.
His dad's a billionaire. It's just one of those things where there was nothing you could do, and it just gutted me.
Yeah,
when
it
I
sucks.
heard that. I can't believe, like, going through that is painful at any level, but it just, I don't know, it just hurt. Because you put yourself in that position, you're just like, man, he'd trade all the money in the world, I'm sure,
of course,
to bring him back.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I can do that for you, Dan Gilbert. I'll bring back your son. I need all your money.
Jesus Christ. I need all your money. Well, I would imagine, people with those kinds of resources probably go around the world to find, if you are, I guess it depends on how pragmatic you are about it, too. There are some people that were like, well, they're not going to tell me what I've got, and I'll get a second and third opinion and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, if you have something that's a congenital situation that you've had since birth or whatever. But you have all kinds of people. When my dad passed away last summer. It'll be a year this June, in a few weeks, as a matter of fact. And
hey, give me all your money and I'll bring them back.
That won't take long. But my dad had, we always said that we got 16 extra years with him because he had been diagnosed with something. I had just moved back home to Chicago in 2006, and my dad got diagnosed with essentially an aggressive form of blood cancer. And we kind of got this, that first year was real touch and go because he was getting transfusions all the time, and he was getting, but, my mom is enough of a hippie where she's like, we're not doing chemo or anything like that. And so we got a lot more time with him than we thought we would. And for a while there, we were feeling pretty good because he never looked sick. Like you'd never know that he had anything. And then it all the dominoes tumbled all at once last summer. But there was a period of time where my mom was like, we're going to go wherever somebody can tell us that they can cure that whatever's going on. So my mom was making plans. They were going to go to Switzerland, and they were going to go to Mexico, and they were going to go to, and I'm like, Mom, maybe that might not be because my dad was always kind of nonchalant about it because that's who he was. Until the very end, where obviously, it gets pretty emotional for everybody involved. But with people with resources at the level of Dan Gilbert, you have to imagine that those conversations were had at some point. We're like, maybe there's a guy, because not only that, when you're a known figure like that, you're going to have people contacting you. So not only do you have to sift through all the quacks, if you're receptive to that at all, you kind of have to pull the wheat from the chaff there, to coin a phrase, and go, hey, this guy might know something. Because there are some people that don't, they got a real boner for things that have nothing to do with Western medicine. Your doctor at the Cleveland Clinic, unimpeachable record of whatever, your doctor can tell you one thing and somebody go, well, I don't. And these days your doctor will encourage you to get a second opinion. Back in the day, that was kind of a magnanimous thing to do. Now it probably has to do with more liability issues than anything else.
Yeah, and it's
money.
It's
a lot of CYA these days. But if you had those kinds of resources, there's probably no no stone you wouldn't overturn.
I was too young to remember when my grandmother was going through cancer because she had lung cancer. And I don't know how long before like her diagnosis to when she ultimately died.
Did she smoke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she smoked. And some of my earliest memories were with my grandma sitting with her in the hospital bed. And that's just what it was. I don't have any concept of time, like how long that lasted. But Mom said, oh, once she was like in the hospital, we kind of knew. So I was like, oh, it must have been going on for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, how old was she? How long did she live?
She was like 72 or 74. So she was young for an older lady, but people usually lived, well, I don't know. Black women are different. They can live a long life or they can live a real short life.
Right. Here's a text. Alan, I'm no first responder and I'm no delivery man. I'm a landscaper.
See?
But I've banged out.
Finding out, or if the husband does find out, it's chitty chitty bang bang. Like so.
But a guy in that position will do anything to get some poontang on the job. He's like, oh, you might lose my husband as a client. All right, I got 50 other clients.
There's
That's
a
fine.
reason that every guy that called into Rover for when they were doing the dating show was a goddamn landscaper.
Yeah, I'm a landscaper.
Landscaper from Party
I
Road
want to
with
go
an
out with the
athletic
hottie.
build, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with like carpenters. Like carpenters are supposed to be like fit and ripped. Like I did carpentry work and I was a carpenter apprentice for like a summer, and they weren't the fittest guys. They were just hard-working guys, skin like leather. But it was.
That's why hetero guys are so fortunate that women are so much more forgiving than they are, right?
I just think
women will look
looking.
past a lot.
Yes, they will.
Just 'cause
Thank you,
And
women.
thank you, women. That's right.
I was gonna say just because you're a good,
Physical deformities, mental stuff. They give you a lot of rope.
just because you're a landscaper or a carpenter, if you're good looking, then you're already in the top 5% of whatever. Like, yeah, there may be carpenters or landscapers that make more money than you, but you're probably some of the best looking. So you're just out there with your shirt off, hammering away, or like planting with those gloves. That
Also,
is a
how do you end up being?
housewife's dream.
And I know that in any organization like that, there's a hierarchy, right? There's like the site boss and things like that. But if you're out there doing manual labor, I don't know how you end up being a fat landscaper. Like your work, that's a lot of work out there.
It's one of those things where if you are working that much, you can still eat terribly.
You can, eat way more than what you're working. Like
I worked for my dad doing, laboring, and I still had a little. I mean, I was in way better shape than I am now, but I still was eating like garbage, so it still was a
because
little
that's probably
chubby.
like your reward. You go for beers after work, and you're
I see.
consuming those calories. And I mean, outside work is only for the good season, and we live in Ohio, so you only get like 3 months, 4 months maybe to do all your clients.
So to speak.
Yeah. So you can be.
That's
still be in
why
bad shape.
I did it this weekend. I went and I bought a whole bunch of mulch. That's why I do my own mulch. I don't need any landscaper coming around in his Carhartt work pants.
That's why.
And his shirt off, knocking on the door, asking my wife if she needs some mulch laid. Ma'am, you have anything here that needs to be laid? Like mulch?
Yeah, that's where
We do our own gardening and landscaping. Thank you very much.
That's where the pool boy fantasy came from. So now that we're in the time we're living in, we need to have those door cams, those indoor cameras that you have everywhere to like watch kids, or if a burglar breaks into your home, you can control it on your phone. Like, I'm watching what my wife is doing.
Oh yeah,
I got
ring
one
cams and everything. Yeah.
I got one in the room. I got one in the living room. If she's getting
Yeah,
smashed,
but you want to
I'm
spend
watching.
your time spying on your spouse?
Yes,
If you're afraid she's getting banged up by the landscaper,
Then why did you
Absolutely.
marry her in the first place?
because she
that
was so
landscaper.
hot, Alan.
If my wife was getting banged out by the landscaper, I would never know. I would never
There you go,
know.
Gwen. You're green.
I'm at work
Here's the
all
green
day
light.
long.
Right.
I would never know. It's the perfect crime. We go and buy our own mulch.
You're
And
not watching him, but he's watching you. He drives past your house. Alan! good. Okay, can't go over there now. Wait till he
I
leaves.
know that happens to me. Hey, it's the show. He's punking me.
Exactly. He's like, what a sucker.
Yeah, I would never know because I'm not getting on the Ring camera and looking. These
Get
people
your
that-
ass on that ring.
These people that have like cameras pointed in their house, like the nanny cam I get, if you have somebody watching your kid, obviously, that's of the utmost importance that that's a secure situation. But these people that like think something's going on, I mean, listen, everybody knows what kind of freaky significant other they got, but holy cow.
People need to let you know
What a
that they
life.
have those, by the way, because I'm 90% sure. I've never sent a nude, but I can pretty much guarantee I'm definitely on someone's like living room camera. They have cameras in their living room to watch their cats, and I done did some messing around, and I was on there. I'm naked on their camera, messing around. I'm like, oh, so there's a sex tape of me out there somewhere. I'm like, you better
On their
delete-
cat cam.
Well, they have it in their living room.
Yeah,
but I
your
had
pet cam. I got one for my dog. I
So you
keep
can
an eye
watch
on
your
her.
dog?
you watch your dog and your cats. Yeah.
Right, but what do you, but you can't do anything.
You can talk to them.
No, what I'm saying is, okay, but they're going to cock their head at the camera and then just go continue pooping on the carpet.
Well, they don't do that. She's well trained.
But then why the camera?
Just to keep an eye on her. I don't
You
know.
want to look at your dog while you're at work.
Yeah, I like my dog. My dog's cute. I like looking at her.
I don't disagree.
I
I'm
like
just saying,
watching her sleep. It's
I
cute.
don't have a camera to watch my dog. I mean, it's, all right.
Yeah, I'm
Of course,
definitely.
there's somebody at my house, I guess, too. Better not be a landscaper, goddammit. All right, I got to take a break. I will have those Bill Maher tickets for you. He's going to be on the show next week. He's coming through to do MGM Northfield Park. I think maybe later next week is when he's coming through. But if you're a Bill Maher fan, I will have those tickets for you. May 20th. So that would be a week from Saturday. He's going to be out there. I will do those coming back. 35192 if you want to text for anything.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.
Buzzard Radio.
The Buzzard.
Is Rover.
Gross and shocking. You're